a simple date that took a tragic turn and cost her life. This story takes us to Delhi, a city known for its rich history, but often making headlines for heartbreaking incidents. Today, we'll talk about a chilling case that began as a love story, but ended in tragedy. It's a story of secrets, betrayal, and devastating choices that left lives shattered. If you find this story interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more gripping tales like this one. Let's dive into the details and uncover the shocking truth behind this case. Today, we delve into another tragic case from the capital of India, Delhi, a city renowned for its rich historical heritage but equally infamous for its alarming crime rate. Among the most distressing issues are crimes against women, which cast a long shadow over the city's reputation and raise questions about its law and order situation. Over the years, cases like the Nirbhaya gang rape in 2012, the Shraddha Walker murder in 2022, and the horrifying Kanjawala incident in January 2023 have shaken the nation, thrusting Delhi into the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. The story we are exploring today is yet another case from Delhi, exposing the dark intersections of love, betrayal, and violence. In modern times, falling in love has become easier, with grand promises often exchanged in the heat of the moment, yet fulfilling those promises requires commitment, maturity, and resilience, qualities not everyone possesses. When relationships falter, emotions can spiral out of control, leading to catastrophic consequences. This story serves as a grim reminder of how love, when driven by obsession and unmet expectations, can devolve into madness and, ultimately, tragedy. It revolves around Nikki Yadav and Sahil Gehlot, whose relationship began with youthful hope but ended in heartbreak and horror. Nikki Yadav hailed from Kerry village in Jhajjar, Haryana. The eldest of four siblings, Nikki had a bright and ambitious personality. Her father, Sunil Yadav, ran a motor repair business in Gurugram, and the family placed high hopes on Nikki's future. She began her education in her hometown but moved to Delhi to pursue higher studies, hoping to carve out a successful career. By 2018, Nikki was preparing for the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test, NEET, aspiring to secure a seat in a medical college. To prepare for the highly competitive NEET exam, Nikki enrolled in a reputed coaching institute in Udhamnagar, Delhi. Her daily commute to the coaching center was by bus, a journey that would soon change her life forever. It was during one of these rides that Nikki met Sahil Gehlot, a young man from Najafgarh, Delhi. Sahil, too, had ambitious dreams, preparing for the Staff Selection Commission, SSC, exams and attending the same coaching institute. Their shared routines became the foundation of a connection that would deeply impact both their lives. Initially, their interactions were limited to fleeting glances and polite nods, but over time, their paths converged in conversation. Those daily bus rides turned into an opportunity for Sahil and Nikki to share their thoughts, dreams, and aspirations. What began as a casual friendship soon blossomed into love, with the two spending more and more time together. Their bond grew stronger, and eventually, according to some reports, they decided to live together in the same apartment, a testament to the depth of their affection. However, as their story unfolded, it revealed how the intensity of love can sometimes blur the lines between devotion and delusion. While Nikki and Sahil's relationship started with innocence and mutual admiration, it would later take a dark and unforeseen turn. This case underscores the chilling reality of how unresolved conflicts and unmet expectations in relationships can escalate into The outbreak of the coronavirus in 2020 brought life to a standstill, with lockdowns imposed nationwide, including in Delhi. Coaching institutes and educational centers shut down, forcing Nikki Yadav and Sahil Gehlot to return to their respective villages. However, once the lockdown restrictions eased, they resumed their lives in Delhi. Reports suggest that the two started living together again, although Nikki's father, Sunil Yadav, firmly denied this claim. According to him, Nikki lived with her younger sister in a house in the Bindapur area of Delhi and never shared a living arrangement with Sahil. As a responsible channel, we cannot independently verify whether Nikki and Sahil cohabited, as both accounts exist. Nevertheless, it is clear their love story deepened during this time. Lost in their growing affection for one another, they faced significant setbacks in their academic pursuits. Nikki was unable to pass the NEET exam, while Sahil failed to secure a position through the SSC examinations. These academic failures added to the challenges in their lives but did not diminish their bond. In the aftermath of their exam failures, both Nikki and Sahil decided to chart a new course for their futures. They enrolled at Galgochias College of Engineering and Technology in Greater Noida, with Nikki pursuing a Master of Arts with honors in English and Sahil taking up a course in pharmacy. This new phase allowed them to focus on their studies while nurturing their relationship. Despite the occasional arguments and differences that are common in any relationship, they managed to persevere, holding on to the love they had for each other. To Nikki, Sahil was her entire world, and Sahil seemed equally devoted to her. However, was their love truly as deep and mutual as Sahil clarified to Nikki's father that he was no longer in contact with her? On February 12th, Nikki's father managed to get in touch with Sahil's father, hoping to find some answers. However, Sahil's father stated that even he had no information about Nikki's whereabouts. While Nikki's family was doing everything they could to locate her, a shocking twist emerged. On February 13th, Delhi police received an anonymous call revealing that a girl had been murdered by a dhaba owner in Najafgarh, and her body had been hidden inside the dhaba. The caller refused to disclose their identity, leaving the source of the tip a mystery. Acting swiftly on this information, the Delhi police raided the dhaba mentioned in the call. Upon searching the premises, they found a body stored in a freezer. The remains were identified as those of Nikki Yadav. Despite the chilling accuracy of the anonymous tip, police sources later clarified that their investigation had not been driven solely by this call. Meanwhile, as Nikki's father continued his frantic efforts to contact her, he reached out to the police for help. The initial investigation revealed Sahil's connection to Nikki, prompting officers to attempt to contact him. Attempts to reach Sahil, however, proved futile as his phone had been switched off. The police proceeded to Sahil's village only to find that he was not at home. A relentless search ensued, and law enforcement eventually apprehended Sahil in a nearby village. Following Sahil's arrest, the media was quick to report on the shocking case, alleging that a boyfriend in a live-in relationship had murdered his girlfriend and hidden her body in a refrigerator. The horrifying details of the crime gripped the public, but the reality that emerged during police interrogations was even more startling. Under questioning, Sahil revealed a secret that dramatically altered the narrative. The media's portrayal of Nikki as a live-in partner was far from the truth. She was, in fact, Sahil's legally wedded wife. Investigators unearthed proof of their marriage when they searched Nikki's room. There, they discovered wedding photographs and a marriage certificate. These documents confirmed that Sahil and Nikki had tied the knot on October 1st, 2020, in a traditional ceremony at an Arya Samaj temple in Greater Noida. The temple records further corroborated the couple's marriage, which they had kept hidden from their families despite marrying out of love and on their own terms. The relationship remained shrouded in secrecy. Sahil and Nikki chose not to disclose their union. Likely at Kashmir Gate, Sahil parked the car near Nigam Board Ghat under the shade of a tree. The couple sat in the car for about 30 minutes, during which a heated argument erupted. Nikki, sensing Sahil's evasiveness and erratic behavior, pressed him for answers about their future. The argument escalated, and in a sudden fit of rage, Sahil grabbed a mobile phone charger cable from the car and strangled Nikki. He continued to apply pressure until she stopped breathing. In a horrifying turn of events, Sahil ended the life of the woman who once meant the world to him. After committing the crime, Sahil remained disturbingly calm. He placed Nikki's lifeless body in the front passenger seat, buckled the seatbelt, and adjusted her position to make it appear as though she was merely asleep. Unsure of what to do next, Sahil drove aimlessly around the city with Nikki's corpse beside him. His mind raced as he tried to figure out how to conceal the evidence of his crime while maintaining a facade of normalcy. While Sahil roamed the streets with Nikki's body, his family anxiously awaited his return. Sahil's wedding was scheduled for February 10th, and the family was eager to complete the pre-wedding rituals. His unexplained absence raised concerns, and they began calling him repeatedly. However, Sahil's phone was switched off, leaving his family puzzled and worried about his whereabouts. Little did they know, the events unfolding were far more sinister than they could have imagined. During this time, Sahil briefly turned his phone back on to contact his family. In a shocking conversation, he confessed to his father, saying, "I've just killed Nikki and I'm driving around with her body in the car." Allegedly, upon hearing this, Sahil's father instructed him to bring Nikki's body to their family-owned dhaba. Soon after, Sahil's two relatives, Ashish and Navin, along with his friends Amar and Lokesh, left their home in 3 separate cars to meet him. They rendezvoused with Sahil on the way to the dhaba, where they collectively decided to hide Nikki's body. Once at the dhaba, the group placed Nikki's body inside the freezer, a chilling act carried out in cold blood. The Cow Pio dhaba, where Nikki's body was hidden, belonged to Sahil and had been closed temporarily due to the wedding preparations. The closure of the dhaba provided the perfect cover, as no one would suspect foul play in a locked establishment. After securing the body in the freezer, Sahil and his accomplices returned to their village to continue with the festivities as though nothing had happened. Sahil then methodically erased evidence, including his chats and call history with Nikki, to ensure that no trace of their interactions remained. On February 10th, the day after hiding Nikki's body, Sahil celebrated his second wedding with great pomp and show. The event was marked by joy and jubilation, with no indication of the horrific events that had transpired just hours earlier. After the wedding celebration, Sahil visited the dhaba to ensure that the body was still concealed. Satisfied that the freezer remained undisturbed, he returned to embrace his new married life. The group planned to dispose of Nikki's body discreetly in a large drain near the dhaba a few days later. However, their plans were disrupted as the search for Nikki intensified. Nikki's disappearance raised alarm, and suspicion quickly fell on Sahil due to his history with her. Sahil's eventual arrest came after the Delhi police acted on a lead possibly linked to an anonymous tip. According to one account, the police interrogated Sahil after his evasive answers about Nikki, ultimately compelling him to lead them to the dhaba where they discovered her body. Another theory suggests that Nikki's tragic fate was tied to her knowledge of Sahil's impending wedding. According to this account, Nikki learned about Sahil's wedding through a mutual friend. When Sahil met her on February 9th, Nikki confronted him, insisting he cancel the wedding and leave Delhi with her immediately. Initially resistant, Sahil eventually agreed, and they began planning a trip to Goa. However, the argument between them escalated as Nikki allegedly threatened Sahil with exposure. Nikki reportedly warned Sahil that if he didn't fulfill her demands, she would reveal their relationship to his family and disrupt the wedding. This pressure, combined with Sahil's growing panic, may have pushed him to commit the unthinkable. The altercation in the car, which culminated in Nikki's murder, highlights the dangerous consequences of unresolved conflicts and escalating tensions. Whether driven by fear, the escalating conflict between Sahil and Nikki ultimately culminated in Nikki's tragic death. Initially, Sahil claimed sole responsibility for the murder, asserting that he had acted alone in planning and executing the crime. However, as the investigation deepened, shocking details emerged, revealing that Sahil's actions were not isolated. The gruesome plan was the result of collaboration involving not just Sahil but also his father, Virendra Singh, two close friends, Amar and Lokesh, and 4 other members of Sahil's family, including his cousins, Ashish and Navin. On February 18, 2023, the police arrested 5 individuals connected to the crime. These included Sahil's father, his friends Amar and Lokesh, and his cousins Ashish and Navin. The investigation revealed a disturbing history of criminal behavior among the accused. Navin, who played a key role in disposing of Nikki's body, had a prior harassment case registered against him in 2018. It was also Navin who instructed Sahil to delete chat and call history from Nikki's phone to cover their tracks. This showed a calculated effort to evade suspicion and obstruct justice. The investigation also uncovered Virendra Singh's dark past. Sahil's father had a murder case against him nearly 18 years ago, for which he served time in jail. These revelations painted a troubling picture of a family with a history of entanglement in criminal activities. Navin, who works as a constable in the Delhi police, further complicated the case by using his position to aid in the concealment of the crime. His involvement raises questions about the misuse of power and authority in shielding perpetrators. Currently, Virendra Singh, the 5th suspect in the case, is being held in Tihar jail, while Sahil remains in police custody. As the legal proceedings unfold, this case continues to highlight the chilling lengths individuals can go to when driven by fear, societal pressure, and a lack of accountability. The involvement of multiple family members in covering up the crime is a disturbing reminder of how collective complicity can amplify the gravity of such offenses. This tragic story has sparked widespread outrage and debate, particularly regarding the systemic failures that allow such crimes to occur. The role of societal and familial pressures, the misuse of power by individuals in authority, and the lack of adequate safeguards for victims are issues that demand immediate attention. Nikki Yadav's life was cut short due to a toxic mix of personal betrayal and calculated criminality, leaving a void that no justice can ever fully fill. What are your thoughts on this harrowing case? Share your views in the comments. If you appreciate the effort to shed light on such incidents, please like and share this video. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, make sure to do so now. Together, let's discuss and reflect on the lessons this tragic story offers to prevent such horrors in the future. To prepare for her NEET exam, Nikki enrolled in a reputed coaching institute in Udhamnagar, Delhi. She commuted daily to the institute by bus, a routine that soon brought her in contact with Sahil Gehlot, a young man from Najafgarh. Sahil was also a student preparing for the Staff Selection Commission (SSC) exams at the same coaching institute. Their daily encounters during the bus rides gradually turned into an unspoken connection, setting the stage for what would become a deeply intertwined relationship. At first, their interactions were limited to fleeting glances and polite exchanges. Over time, these moments evolved into conversations, fostering a growing friendship. Their bond deepened, and friendship blossomed into love. Some reports suggest that their relationship grew so strong that they eventually began living together in the same apartment. However, their budding romance soon faced an unexpected obstacle: the COVID-19 pandemic. With the nationwide lockdown, including in Delhi, coaching institutes shut down, forcing them to return to their respective villages. Once lockdown restrictions were lifted, Sahil and Nikki reportedly resumed their lives together. However, Nikki's father, Sunil Yadav, disputed these claims. He stated that Nikki never lived with Sahil and instead resided with her younger sister. In an attempt to move forward, both decided to enroll at Galgosius College of Engineering and Technology in Greater Noida. Nikki pursued a Master of Arts with honors in English, while Sahil chose a course in pharmacy. Their new academic pursuits gave them a fresh start, and they continued to nurture their relationship. Like any relationship, theirs faced its share of ups and downs, but they remained committed to each other, at least on the surface. For Nikki, Sahil was her entire world, and it seemed as though Sahil felt the same way. But as time passed, their relationship began to change. A hidden tension slowly crept in, poisoning the bond they once shared. This undercurrent of unease eventually grew into something far more destructive, the consequences of which Nikki could never have foreseen. Their love story, once filled with hope and passion, started unraveling in ways neither of them could control. On February 14, 2023, the Delhi police revealed a shocking development in their story. What had seemed like a simple tale of love and struggle turned into a chilling account of betrayal and violence. The revelations that followed exposed the tragic trajectory of Nikki and Sahil's relationship, leaving behind a trail of questions about trust, commitment, and the dark side of human emotion. On February 11, 2023, Nikki Yadav's father tried to reach her by phone, but her number was switched off. Concerned by her unavailability, he called Nikki's younger sister to inquire about her whereabouts. Her sister informed him that Nikki had gone to Goa, which initially eased his concerns. However, as a precaution, Nikki's father reached out to some of her friends to confirm this information. None of them, however, had any knowledge of her trip or her current location. As the search continued, one of Nikki's friends revealed that she had last been seen with Sahil Gehlot. Following this lead, Nikki's father obtained Sahil's contact number from Nikki's younger sister and called him. When contacted, Sahil claimed to have limited knowledge of Nikki's whereabouts, stating that he was no longer in contact with her. He suggested that she might be in Dehradun or Mussoorie on a trip, deflecting further questions about her. At the time, Sahil was deeply involved in the preparations for his upcoming wedding. The next day, on February 12th, Nikki's father managed to get in touch with Sahil's father to seek more information. However, Sahil's father also denied knowing anything about Nikki. Despite these repeated setbacks, Nikki's father continued his search, trying to find his daughter through every possible channel. Meanwhile, on February 13th, Delhi police received an anonymous call that would change the trajectory of the investigation. The anonymous caller, choosing to remain unidentified, provided a shocking tip. They claimed that a dhaba owner in Najafgarh had murdered a girl and hidden her body inside the dhaba's freezer. While the source of this information remains undisclosed, the call spurred Delhi police into immediate action. Officers arrived at the dhaba to investigate the claims and, during their search, discovered a body concealed inside a freezer. The remains were later identified as those of Nikki Yadav. Despite the accuracy of the anonymous tip, police sources clarified that the call was not the primary catalyst for their investigation. Nikki's father had also contacted the police during this time, reporting her as missing. Through inquiries with Nikki's younger sister, investigators learned about her relationship with Sahil, identifying him as a key person of interest. When attempts to reach Sahil proved futile, his phone was switched off, the police intensified their efforts to locate him. The investigation led the police to Sahil's village, but he was not at home. After an extensive search, officers eventually found Sahil in a nearby village and placed him under arrest. As details began to emerge, media reports painted a grim picture of the events. According to these reports, Sahil, who was allegedly in a live-in relationship with Nikki, had murdered her and hidden her body in the freezer to cover up the crime. The gruesome discovery and Sahil's arrest sent shockwaves through the community. The case highlighted the dark side of relationships and raised questions about the pressures and emotions that can lead to such extreme actions. As the investigation unfolded, more chilling details about Sahil's actions and the involvement of others would come to light, deepening the tragedy of Nikki Yadav's untimely death. During the police investigation following Sahil's arrest, a shocking revelation came to light. Contrary to the media's portrayal of Nikki Yadav as Sahil's live-in partner, she was in fact his legally wedded wife. The investigation uncovered that Sahil and Nikki had secretly married in a traditional ceremony at the Arya Samaj Temple in Greater Noida on October 1st, 2020. The discovery of wedding photos, a marriage certificate, and temple records confirmed their union, which had remained hidden from their respective families. The couple had married on their own terms, driven by love, but decided to keep their relationship a secret. Over time, however, Sahil began to face mounting pressure from his family to formalize his marital status and marry a woman of their choosing. Despite repeated demands, Sahil consistently refused to disclose his marriage to Nikki or take steps to gain his family's acceptance of their relationship. As family pressure escalated, Sahil finally confessed to his parents about his marriage to Nikki. This revelation was met with hostility. His family adamantly demanded that he sever all ties with Nikki and comply with their wishes by marrying the woman they had chosen for him. Reluctantly, Sahil agreed to their demands and, with their support, began devising a sinister plan to remove Nikki from his life altogether. On February 9th, 2023, the day Sahil was engaged to the woman selected by his family, he attended a grand engagement ceremony. Later that night, around 1:30 a.m., Sahil visited Nikki at her apartment as captured by CCTV footage. He spent 2 to 3 hours with her, during which he reassured her and proposed a trip to Goa, presenting it as a way to escape their current challenges and start afresh. Unaware of his true intentions, Nikki agreed. Early the next morning, the pair packed their belongings into 2 bags and headed to Nizamuddin railway station to catch a train to Goa. However, they faced a setback when Sahil's ticket was found to be unconfirmed. Unable to board the train, Sahil suggested they change their destination to Himachal Pradesh. The couple drove to Anand Vihar railway station, intending to catch a bus to Himachal, but their plans shifted yet again and they decided to head to Kashmir Gate. At Kashmir Gate, Sahil stopped his Hyundai Verna car near Nigam Bodhghat, parking under a tree. The constant changes in plans, coupled with the underlying tensions in their relationship, led to a heated argument between Sahil and Nikki. They sat in the car for nearly half an hour, during which emotions ran high. Nikki, frustrated and sensing Sahil's evasiveness, demanded clarity about their future. The argument marked a turning point, setting the stage for the tragic events that would soon unfold. Sahil's actions in the hours that followed would irreparably alter not only Nikki's life, but also his own, leaving behind a trail of betrayal, violence, and heartbreak. The series of decisions he made that day would culminate in one of the most shocking crimes the city had seen. Amidst their heated argument, Sahil's anger reached a breaking point. In a sudden and violent act, he grabbed a charger cable from the car and strangled Nikki until she stopped breathing. Once she was dead, Sahil shockingly maintained his composure. He placed Nikki's lifeless body in the front passenger seat, buckled her seatbelt, and positioned her to appear as though she were asleep. Unsure of what to do next, he drove aimlessly around the city, grappling with the magnitude of his actions. While Sahil roamed the streets with Nikki's body in the car, his family was anxiously awaiting his return. February 10th was the day of Sahil's wedding, and there were several rituals scheduled to be completed at home. His unexplained absence caused concern among his family members, who repeatedly tried to contact him. However, Sahil had turned off his phone, further fueling their worry and confusion. Eventually, Sahil switched his phone back on and contacted his family. In a chilling conversation, he confessed to his father, saying, "I have just taken Nikki's life. I am driving around with her body in the car." Instead of urging Sahil to surrender to the police, his father allegedly instructed him to bring Nikki's body to their family-owned dhaba. Following this, Sahil's relatives, Ashish and Navin, and his friends, Amar and Lokesh, set out in 3 separate cars to meet him. The group eventually rendezvoused with Sahil on the way to the dhaba. Together, they transferred Nikki's body into the freezer at the dhaba, coldly treating it as just another problem to solve. The Cow Pio dhaba, which belonged to Sahil's family, had been closed for wedding preparations, making it an ideal location to temporarily conceal the crime. With the body hidden, the group dispersed and Sahil returned home to continue the wedding festivities as if nothing had happened. Later that evening, Sahil deleted all chat and call histories from Nikki's phone, meticulously removing any evidence that could link him to her. On February 10th, after hiding the body in the dhaba's freezer, Sahil went on to celebrate his second wedding with great pomp and show. The next day, in a shocking display of nonchalance, he returned to the dhaba to check on the corpse. Satisfied that the body remained undisturbed, Sahil resumed his newly married life without raising suspicion. The plan was to dispose of Nikki's body quietly in a large nearby drain a few days later. However, their carefully laid plans began to unravel as Nikki's disappearance raised red flags. Her family, desperate to find her, initiated a search that quickly drew the attention of authorities. Suspicion naturally fell on Sahil due to his connection with Nikki, leading to an investigation that culminated in his arrest. One theory suggests that Sahil's arrest was directly linked to an anonymous tip. According to this account, after receiving the tip, the police approached Sahil to inquire about Nikki's whereabouts. When he provided vague and evasive answers, the police intensified their interrogation, eventually uncovering the truth. Sahil, unable to maintain his facade under pressure, led the police to the dhaba, where Nikki's body was discovered in the freezer, exposing the horrific crime he and his accomplices had tried so desperately to conceal. When Sahil failed to provide a clear answer about Nikki's whereabouts, the police intensified their interrogation. Under pressure, Sahil eventually confessed to the truth and led investigators to the dhaba, where Nikki's body was hidden in the freezer. This shocking revelation unraveled the dark details of a meticulously planned crime. One theory suggests that Nikki had learned about Sahil's impending wedding through a mutual friend, prompting her to confront him on February 9th, 2023. During their meeting, Nikki insisted that Sahil cancel his wedding and leave Delhi with her immediately. Initially hesitant, Sahil eventually agreed and they made plans to travel to Goa. However, as the questioning later revealed, their altercation escalated beyond the travel plans. Nikki allegedly threatened Sahil, warning that if he did not leave with her, she would expose their relationship during his wedding and prevent it from happening. This threat may have been the catalyst for the horrific sequence of events that followed. The conflict ultimately resulted in Nikki's tragic death. Sahil initially claimed that he alone was responsible for her murder. However, as the investigation progressed, evidence revealed a larger conspiracy involving not only Sahil but also his father, Virendra Singh, his friends Amar and Lokesh, and his cousins Ashish and Navin. On February 18, 2023, the police arrested Sahil's father and the 4 accomplices for their roles in the crime. Further investigation exposed troubling histories among the accused. Navin, a Delhi police constable, had a prior harassment case filed against him in 2018 and was the one who instructed Sahil to delete Nikki's chat and call history to destroy evidence. Additionally, it was revealed that Sahil's father, Virendra Singh, had been involved in a murder case 18 years ago and had served time in jail. Navin also played an active role in the disposal of Nikki's body, using his position to assist in covering up the crime. The arrests of Sahil's family and friends shed light on the deeply entrenched complicity that enabled such a heinous act. Sahil's father, the 5th suspect in the case, is currently in Tihar jail, while Sahil remains in police custody. This case highlights not only the violence perpetrated by Sahil, but also the willingness of others to participate in and conceal the crime, revealing a chilling lack of accountability and morality. As the investigation continues, the grim details of Nikki's murder serve as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked emotions, family pressures, and criminal collusion. The case underscores the urgent need for societal change to address the systemic failures that allow such tragedies to occur and to ensure justice for victims like Nikki Yadav. This case is a chilling reminder of how emotions like love, fear, and desperation can spiral into tragedy when mixed with secrets and unresolved conflicts. It highlights the importance of communication, support systems, and recognizing early warning signs in relationships. The devastating choices made here not only cost a life, but left families and communities grappling with loss and unanswered questions. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more stories like this, and don't forget to like, comment, and share your thoughts. Your support helps us bring these stories to light and encourages meaningful conversations. Stay thoughtful, stay safe, and until next time, take care.